Okay, so it's Randy again. Uh, it appears that I actually, in my nimble-witted way, finished two sections the last time. So it looks like I'm going to have to do away with both because I put them together. Because the last session was on getting the app from test flight and then logging in for the first time. So I've kind of completed that. So I'm going to change that. I'll have to renumber these at some point here. Okay, uh, right now I want to move on to introduction to the VAR Cruiser main screen and the six different divisions of it, if you will. This is my iPad. I guess that's pretty obvious. And now I'm going to go out and start up the VAR Cruiser again and show you how you would typically take off. Once it's ready to go, you should find that it's already been loaded with your cruisers. And as I said, I want to cruise with Andrew Van Sickle as well as Judell or Kelly at this point. So the screen should, I'm going to click login at this point. Okay, so this is where we left off before, and I was going to describe the various divisions of this main screen, which are pretty darn important, I think. Um, First, to start out, there is this upper green bar. I call it the button bar because you can do two things. You can log out and you can go to resources. Resources will be training videos and different things we want to make available to the cruisers in the woods. By clicking on resources, you can see right now we have some demos and other things. It actually links to an Alpine YouTube site and makes that available for us. Um, but anyway, we're not going to be discussing that now. So I'm going to move back. So the other thing the button bar does, it tells you what the pointer's on. And if you can look here, you can see this is the current cruise. It's being demonstrated up here. If I move down here, that updates as well. But one of the things you also saw update at this point, uh, it is uh, this is the I. Let me just get started. So this area 1 and area 2 is the status area. 3 is the description area, and we call this the plot list or the plot list area, and plot registration area, and then the Toway tree data area. These are the actual only places that data is entered. This just shows you the current condition and our current cruisers that are expected. The current cruise area is Bull. The current cruisers are AJV and DRK, and the plots on board are 5749. And those, of course, are coordinated with the with the Avenza app right here. Those are the 5,000. In this case, of course, that's not correct because this is 9 Mile, I believe. So those two apps are coordinated at this point. Um, Starting over here in the iPad status again, you got the 5,000 plots. Plots currently cruised at 0. And I'm adding something today. We're going to move this up a little, going to scooch that up a little bit, and then down below this we're going to have the current trees per plot. And that's an important calculation. I hope you realize we're trying to maintain 4. We really would rather, over the course of time, stay right near that 4 trees per plot average. And of course, in the process of doing that, we're going to see extremes. We're going to see empty plots, as well as perhaps plots with 7 or 8 trees, maybe even more, I suppose, if we were to get into a thicket, I suppose. Uh, so that this is the iPad status, and then to the right of that, you have the description area, and this is the onboard data that we carry. This is simply the parsed version of that, which is the township, range, section, strip, and plot. This thing in red is very important. It is the additional data status that gets loaded in, and when that is yes, there's actually there's extra data that needs to be collected, specifically periodic annual increments on the first and the third conifer plot, as well as site trees and height to live crown ratio. That component of our cruiser hasn't been built yet because right now, probably for the rest of the year, we're going to be involved with cruise areas that do not require additional data. That'll allow us to buy time and and add that to VAR Cruiser a little later this year. Uh, the plot type, primary, and I believe, as I pointed out in the first, that primary plots are really what the cruise is about. Every primary plot needs to be registered. Secondary plots, we're doing a 10% sample, and in the secondary plots are all located in marginal or inoperable timber stands. Below that, slope and aspect, 45% slope southeast aspect. The basal area factor, or BARF as we call it, is 50. That came from looking at the current cruise data for the cruise area, and it suggests it actually came out to be around 240 square feet of basal area. That led us to believe that the basal area factor of 50 would be best. The border land class status, that is just a heads up. If that's anything other than none, then you should probably expecting the next plot to land closer to an opening of some kind, of perhaps a regen area or a non-timbered area, or even an inoperable stand, at which time you have to take special precautions and add those procedures or considerations when you're cruising. Below the elevation of this plot's around 3,100 feet. The area to the right of this, this is going to be where the future home of the VAR Cruiser Avenza mapping environment. And here there'll be the ability to change from the ortho to the actual Venza map that we demonstrate here. So this map here will reside, it'll reside right here. Again, changing from ortho to back to full map, exactly the way it is now in Avenza. You'll also have full screen, of course. You'll be able to either double click or something, and that map and or ortho will fully occupy the screen at that point. That will be coming as soon as we can make it happen. Those data sets, of course, have to be local because we don't have internet, or very few cases do we have good enough internet to count on to get the ortho. So that is the plot description area. Again, this is under construction right here at this point. Now the next environment, would be the fourth area on the screen, is the plot list itself. And as you can see, you can actually, because there are so many plots on this thing, I'm just going to go right now. Right now it's looking for 24 north. I think I have some 23s or 20. I'll try 23. Nope, don't have any 23s. Perhaps I have 25s. Yes, as you can see, it jumped down. And with 5,000 plots on board, it's important to truly jump down and not have to play this kind of game right here, which is, it's pretty darn slow at that point. So the reason that's locked in that position is I've got to clear that. When I do that, now I'm back where I wanted at the top. And you can just scroll. Well, frankly, you can scroll a long time. Once you arrive at where you want to be and you choose that first position, which is now demonstrated up here, it remembers that position, and that's where it'll come in the next time, which is pretty handy. Again, you can query for it. And as now you can look at all the plots or simply the ones completed, and it'll filter this list for you, but you'll see that later on. So that is the fourth area. The fifth area is plot registration, and these plot registration and tally tree data entry are really totally separate from one another, as they should be. It is anticipated that once a plot is registered, that it will be cruised if trees are present. We're going to put a little trap in there that from the time you click to start registering your plot, the right here it'll put the date and time in, and that date and time needs to be within proximity of the tally tree data. We're trying to make sure that this guarantees first that the cruiser's at that exact place, and it will allow us to coordinate and and discuss the locational disparities we're finding when we get the location of the Latin lawn and the time. It'll help a lot going forward as far as reconciling between contractors and different events. Uh, anyway, all the fields involved with that, and of course some comments and messages associated just with plot registration right here. And last but not least, the Tally Tree data area. Once you have a formally registered plot, you will see this environment will change. You'll get an icon show up here that will allow you to add trees to the plot. And again, it'll at some point be testing for coordinating that this didn't happen 3 days later than this happened. That's our goal, is to keep those in sync. All right, I guess that enters the description of the main screen portion of my series here.